3, 2, 1.
Good morning. How you doing over there, Carla Marie? A little late to the party?
I'm right here. What are you talking about?
You were cutting it close. Did your
Yeah.
mic check about 30 seconds ago.
Well, I had to go run downstairs. I heard a kitten crunching on not kitten food. It was cat food.
Let's explain these drinks,
Okay.
which I guess, the hype train just started. I guess if we get through hype train level 5, I'll crack open the second bottle,
Okay.
and we'll go with that instead of taking shots today. Does that work?
That works for me.
All right. Oh, by the way, welcome to the Carla Marie Anthony Show on Twitch. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And yesterday, I was using Carla Marie's Facebook page for this project we're working on. And I had to talk to someone I didn't know. And I was trying to explain to them why I was using Carla Marie's page and not my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had them go to the Carla Marie Anthony Show YouTube. And I was like, by the way, the reason I'm using this page is because my co-host is Carla Marie. I'm the Anthony part of this equation. It was really weird, but welcome to the Carla Marie Anthony Show.
Here we are.
Josh from Indy, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you very much.
We are going to get into Bachelorette Men Tell All recap at some point.
There's also sports stuff going on today. Like a lot of big sports news. I don't know if you've missed it.
I don't know about it, so it's probably not good.
It's big stuff. You're going to enjoy one of them at least.
Okay. And I have my live stream today with Vistaprint. It's called Long Story Short, and it's all about social media marketing. And that's going to kick off at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon East Coast time. And I'm talking to Habib, who is the CEO of Young Nails. And we're going to talk about how they took their company from 0 social media followers to over 5 million. And Habib is actually Anthony's cousin.
Yeah, and actually, and obviously I am going to be 100% biased with
You have
this.
your Young Nails hat on.
I'm wearing my Young Nails hat, which they sent me a while back. We sent them some You Look Great stuff. I just realized I don't think I asked my cousin Greg if he wanted any You Look Great stuff.
I was wondering if you did.
I'm a piece of garbage. But East Lattery 11, thank you for the subscription with Prime. To everyone on YouTube watching this later, I'm sorry you hear us shouting at people on Twitch, but that's life. No, I'm going to obviously be very biased when I say this, but I love Habib and Greg's story and the whole Young Nail story. And the really interesting thing, and I'm sure you'll get into this at some point, when I was back in LA in June, I was visiting my cousin Michelle, and I went to go see my cousins Rudy and Habib. We all had dinner together, and I was asking Habib how they did during the pandemic and how crazy it was. And he was like, the craziest thing is with all of the effort that we put into social media and our digital presence before the pandemic, he's like, we were the most prepared company in our industry for the pandemic. And obviously things did change and some of their retailers were closed, but at the same time, very little changed compared to everybody else. And it just shows that if you can have a little patience and some foresight, like you can really prepare yourself for the future. So that was one of my favorite things that I got. And I'm sure you guys are going to get to it at some point.
One of the things I said to him was like, oh, so how did you have to change during the pandemic? And he's like,
yeah,
we didn't. It's because we changed like 3 years ago. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm super, super excited about this one because I know social media marketing is like ever changing and small businesses are always dying to know, what do I do? And Habib is like so energetic and charismatic that I'm glad it's coming from someone like him. So it'll be good.
He's also the one who told me to get on TikTok like 3 years ago, and I just didn't listen. So I should probably listen to everything he says today and take notes.
Yes.
So that will be right after we're done with this stream. You're going to be able to go onto Facebook. We're going to give you the link at the end. You will be sent to Vistaprint's Facebook account. That's where this is going to be. And we got a first-time chat viewer from Nick Titus, I think that is. So welcome, Nick Titus. What are we drinking, Carla Marie?
Okay, so let's actually drink it first.
Without knowing what it is?
Yeah.
Well, it's from Seattle Cocktail Club, so I guess I could trust them. Cheers. I'm not taking a shot. You don't have to tap the table. Oh, that's good. It's like a fruit punch. What is this? This is good.
It's a Jolly Island Punch.
Oh, is that why there's a Jolly Rancher on top?
Okay, so we're drinking.
Can I just say this? I love the way Seattle Cocktail Club, like they make all these labels and they hand place them.
It's a part of the Boozy Bodega. And it's supposed to look like a drink you could buy at a bodega.
It tastes like one.
So August 6th, we are going to do a Carla Marie Anthony show meetup at Seattle Cocktail Club's Boozy Bodega. We're basically crashing their event. They've got Chef Shota from Top Chef. He was one of the finalists. He's coming, and he is making a spicy sesame chicken sandwich.
Ooh.
His twist on macaroni salad. So he'll be cooking food that you can buy, and there will also be these to-go cocktails that you can buy. And today, Thursday, next Monday, we are going to try each of the cocktails.
Oh, cool.
And so today we're sampling the Jolly Island Punch, which has Wheatley vodka, sake, watermelon. Watermelon what? What
is cheat sheet over there?
Yeah. What's POG? POG.
It's a great question.
So this is
I know
the menu.
POD.
And
band.
Obviously got a watermelon Jolly Rancher. All the drinks look so cool. I'm not even going to tell you what the other ones are, because I want you to experience them each day with us. But like, there's going to be like a little bodega menu for you when you're there.
Oh, Seattle Cocktail Club just said, not only are we trying them live on the stream, but we're the first. Who folds
It's not. It's
a laminated paper?
It's supposed to be cut in half. It was too big for me to have here.
Oh, we're the first ones ever to try it. And POG is Passion Orange Guava.
Is that like known in the bartending world, that POG is Passion Orange Guava?
You got me. By the way, we only have about a minute and a half to get through Hype Train Level 4. I know that
so good.
CC Shots Z and Sort G5 both subscribed with Tier 1. Or no, one with Tier 1, one with Prime. So thank you guys very much.
Apparently everyone knows that.
And to Jordy Matthew, I don't believe you can taste the Jolly Island Punch in New York at the moment.
No, but I'll tell you right now, I taste zero alcohol in this, so.
Oh, Tacoma Swifty said POG juice is so good. It's everywhere in Hawaii. So this is, I guess, normally like a mixed thing. Like you can get it in a can. You can take it in the can.
I was just going to say, that's what you said.
DK329, Thank you for the subscription and the Prime. Appreciate you very much.
So I'm going to drop the link with the information on the Boozy Bodega. Sorry if you're not from Seattle and you can't come to this. We'll have events in other parts of the world at some point. Or
Alicia in Seattle. POG is a drink you can buy at the grocery store.
What?
There you go. I like POG. I'm a big fan of POG now.
Big fan of POG.
I'm a big POG fan.
Big POG fan. So,
not the POGs that you used to use with slammers.
Also a POG fan.
Yeah.
So Boozy Bodega, August 6th, 4 p.m. You're going to get all the information where it is. Like, I still don't even know where it is. They're not telling me on purpose because they know I'm going to slip.
But the day is?
August 6th. And a day in advance, you'll get an email.
Is that a Friday?
It is in the Seattle area. And also at that event, there will be chocolate bars for sale. And all the proceeds will go to charity. And I think it's 25 of the chocolate bars, there are golden tickets.
Oh, cool.
Which is a free ticket to Seattle Cocktail Week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you are in the Seattle area, if you're down in Olympia, Tacoma, up in Everett, and you want to make some time for us on Friday, like Carla Marie said, we can't tell you exactly where the event is. It will be in Seattle, like in Seattle proper. Right? In the city of?
Seattle area. Is what
okay, so very close to Seattle. And we'd appreciate to have you out there. We'd love to hang out a little bit. I know we did a meetup last summer, but obviously that was like, or actually last fall in Seattle, but that
POG
was
is like a brand.
Social distanced and masks and everything. So if you want to hang out, Kyle King is in here.
Ooh.
Just subscribed for a month with Tier 1. Thank you, Kyle King. If you haven't checked out his show, he does a lot of really, really cool things on there. I suggest you check him out. Nicole in Southwest Florida extended her Tier 1 sub through August. Thank you. We do have some sports stuff we want to talk about. So Kyle King, you might appreciate this. I know you do talk a lot of sports on your show.
Is it about Simone Biles?
It is part of it. Are you distraught?
I love her.
We'll talk about that in a second. We've got some Bachelor talk as well. And we are going to have to kind of talk about 2 different Bachelorette episodes because we weren't here last week.
I can't talk about last week.
And yesterday was a little like quick Bachelorette episode and then the Men Tell All, which I'm going to be honest, I don't like the Tell All episodes, mainly because I think the producers try to add bloopers and be like, oh, we're wacky, and they're all so lame. They're usually the lamest.
I have been pulling for Tayshia and Caitlyn this whole season. I thought they've done way better hosting at the resort, but last night was painful to watch.
For both of them?
As someone who like has hosted live things before, this is going to sound really cocky. I know I could have done a way better job than the 2 of them did last night.
Probably.
Like just a more natural environment. Emmanuel Acho did an amazing job.
Yeah. The only thing Emmanuel Acho didn't do well was reading off the teleprompter in the beginning. But I think once that first
teleprompter sucked.
Once that first segment got out of the way, I think he did a fantastic job. And he didn't have the, weeks of training or preparation. I want to call it training.
Because they've been a part of the franchise forever.
So. Nick NYC718, thank you for the tier 1 sub. And Shauna, thank you for the sub and the gift. Appreciate that very much. Oh, wow. Kyle King came here for Bachelorette talk, not sports.
So what are we doing?
I want to get into the sports thing real quick because we won't talk about it a lot. But Simone Biles withdrew from the gymnastics team today. Now, I don't know if she withdrew from the team competition or the entire team.
Okay, let's find out.
So if anyone knows, because I haven't been able to dive into the story as much as I wanted to because it popped up on my phone right before we started getting ready. If she withdrew from the team.
So what happened? Someone already took her spot, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's just...
Okay, so from the team competition. So that makes sense. And a lot of people are saying there might have been an injury there. Some people are also saying she withdrew because of her mental health, because she's under a lot of pressure.
Because the media sucks.
Well, but this is the interesting thing, though. And I'm not the biggest women's gymnastics fan, so maybe I don't follow it as much as a lot of other people do. But if you are the face of women's gymnastics, and arguably the face of the U.S. Olympic team, right? Probably one of the most well-known, her, Megan Rapinoe, Sue Bird, all very well-known, but Simone as an individual athlete, huge. If you are the face of an Olympic team, especially America, and it is the Olympic season, I would assume you're prepared for a lot of pressure and a lot of media attention. No, especially because she's gone through it now. This is her 3rd Olympics.
Yeah, but every day is completely different.
I don't know if I buy.
But she got hurt.
Okay, but when people are saying, poor girl, her mental health, and I understand there's a lot of pressure.
No. So what everyone is saying is the media got to her, and she didn't land and got hurt. That's the trail of events that I read today. She didn't land her triple axel flippy thing. I don't know. And she got hurt.
Okay, let's see.
That's what I've been saying. Like she's.
What does Shay set 2178
everything
say?
I'm reading is she got hurt, and also It's Me Meech said there was no backup, but I did read someone that said someone else was stepping in for her.
This also just happened this morning, so we're still getting in a lot of news. Let's see. I'm trying to read and catch up to all of this. So if you know a lot about gymnastics, please jump in the chat.
Simone Biles has withdrawn from the team final competition due to a medical issue. She will be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competition.
Okay. And the team got silver, according to Mama Sarah.
I mean, not too shabby.
Interesting. So are we just getting different reports about the same thing?
People are saying she looked lost in the air. Jesus.
Well, I would also be lost in the air.
In the air. She's
not a bird. She's a human. We're all lost in the air.
Okay. What is the other sports?
The other sports thing I wanted to talk about.
So she said she's not hurt. Well, what is happening on the internet right now?
This is why you can't trust the internet.
Apparatuses. I can't.
What?
This is not the kind of sports that I do.
No, what sports do you do?
Basketball.
The other sports topic, and I've been following this, talking to some friends about it, and Texas and Oklahoma, the universities of Texas and Oklahoma, have been in the Big 12 conference basically since its inception, and there were rumors that they were going to leave and go to the Southeastern Conference, the SEC, and today they actually made the request to join the SEC and leave the Big 12.
That's
which,
Washington?
We're in the Pac-12.
Pac-12.
So if you're a college sports fan, this is huge, cataclysmic news. It will shift the entire college football and college basketball specifically.
Does it affect Rutgers?
Landscape. It could honestly affect Rutgers at some point. Probably not in a good way. And here's why it would affect a school like Rutgers. If Oklahoma and Texas do leave, and they wouldn't be able to actually leave, I don't think, according to their contract, until like 2025. So they'd be playing out the next couple of seasons in a conference they don't want to be in. But the way it would affect a Rutgers or even a Washington is there are going to be 8 schools, I believe, left
Okay.
in the Big 12. Those schools will most likely, if they don't add some lower tier schools to their conference, they will most likely find new conferences to join. So then you'll have the schools like West Virginia going to the ACC. You'll have schools like Baylor
I don't understand.
looking for a new conference.
Like, why don't we just have like 2 like an NFL does?
Well, they might. I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up with 4 conferences total.
Like here, and here.
It won't be that clean, but it'll be somewhat like that.
I mean, who made this
Because
up?
you'll end up with the ACC.
Probably the same people who drew the states.
No, those people are dead and gone.
Probably their lineage.
their grandkids
Just
are
like,
drawing up college football conferences. So a school would want to change a conference. This is to Shayna FC in the Twitch chat. Generally, it's all money. Every now and then, some conferences, like the Big East back in the day, actually kicked out Temple, and they needed to find a new conference because they were so bad at sports at the time that the Big East was like, please, you're terrible.
Can we kick out a state then?
No, I don't know why you're trying to compare states and conferences right now. They have nothing to do with U.S. geography is not part of this. But generally it's money. So the SEC last year paid out more to their institutions from their football contracts than anyone else did. I want to say it was $48 million each school.
To who?
To each school.
Okay.
So with
everyone
their
wants to be
media
there.
rights and things like that, sponsorships, they were able to pay all of their schools. I want to say it was $48 million. If anyone knows the exact number, feel free to correct me in the chat, or if you're watching this on
Schools
YouTube.
are greedy. They want the money.
I believe Big 12 schools ended up in the $20 million range. So the 2 biggest programs in the Big 12 are Oklahoma and Texas. Texas is a really big brand, even though
Like
it
which
doesn't.
Texas?
University of Texas,
Okay.
the one that we went to
UT.
on our Texas trip in Austin.
Longhorns.
Yes. They have one of the biggest brands in college football. It's just this. You don't have to put it on your head like a loser. UT has one of the biggest brands in college football without actually really being that successful in the past 25 years.
Okay.
Oklahoma, on the other hand, has a huge brand in football because they've been super successful in the last 10 years. So both of those Sooners, make a crap ton of money. Oh, $45 million. That was close.
Look at me.
So both of those schools make a lot of money and probably the biggest money makers for their conference. And if they leave and go to a even bigger conference that makes even more money, it's going to make the SEC more valuable. So it'll be interesting. But like you were asking, does it affect Rutgers? It will down the line because Rutgers is in the Big 10.
Uh-huh.
They will probably, if the whole Big 12 falls apart, they'll probably absorb some of those teams, which will make it even harder for Rutgers to be good because most of the teams in the Big 12 currently are better than Rutgers in football. And then some of them are better in basketball too. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens.
Chop.
I think it's also, if you're a Texas fan, I don't know if Chris from Austin is in here today, but I think it's a terrible move for Texas because they're not that good and they're going to be like the 7th best team in the SEC.
Thank God I have this Jolly Island Ranch punch. Whoa, today. Jolly Island punch.
You had 3 sips. Are you okay?
Hashtag sports.
What are we drinking? Great question from Ricky, Carla Marie.
Oh, Ricky, you should come. It's for the Boozy Bodega with Seattle Cocktail Club. This is a Jolly Island punch, and it's got Wheatley vodka, Pog. Do you know what that is? I bet you don't. And watermelon and something else.
Ricky, if you know what POG is, P-O-G, all capital letters without Googling it,
Sake.
I'll Venmo you $3. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
But don't Google it. Don't cheat.
Honesty. Quick note. My sister texted us this morning, and she also sent me a picture. She was watching yesterday's show back.
Oh, because it was about her wedding.
Yeah. In Italy.
Why? Why is it
They were driving. They were in a car driving. But, like, she's got the phone. Like, you can see the countryside, and she's got the phone, like, watching it. I didn't know they were sending me a picture. I was like, oh, yay, mountains. That's what I thought. But she was watching the show, and she goes, I just had to buy, I spent $6 on a token to watch your show on Twitch, because she's clearly not a subscriber, and goes, just to find out I could have watched it for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
But she was laughing because she said, like, there was so much about her wedding she was learning through us.
Oh, cool. Because she wasn't obviously there for every moment.
Right. She was laughing at my niece telling everyone to sing the wrong hero during her dance with my mom. And She said that to let everyone know, there were 20 girls getting ready at her house, not 16. She wanted everyone to know that.
That's insane.
But now I think they're in Positano, living the dream.
That sounds pretty good. I think she should put her phone down for a little bit.
They were both watching together. They said they were hysterical, laughing all over again at my speech. I should have dabbed during my speech.
You should not have dabbed during your speech. Also, to go back to the POG, which we are drinking, it's one of the ingredients in the drink. Ricky did not know what it is. You want to explain what it is, Carla Marie? Do you remember? Passion
orange guava.
Wow, there you go. Apparently, it's a very popular drink in Hawaii. You can also buy it at a bunch of grocery stores, wherever.
This drink feels like I am on an island, living the dream. I've retired. I've hit the lottery, and I've invested my money in real estate and the future of electric cars. And I'm just...
You have serious problems. You know that, right?
Is my tongue red?
No. I mean, well, yes, because tongues are red. But no, not because of the drink.
I never had Wheatley vodka before.
I have not had that either.
It's really good.
Let's see. Yeah, CM is running on all cylinders today. Where'd you get all this energy from?
My mocha shot from Seattle.
Oh, you did have a mocha shot this morning?
Of course I did.
Okay. Now is time. Oh, by the way, we did complete the hype train, so I will crack this guy open and I will finish the drink. Thank you for that. These really are the coolest bottles ever. Like they do such a good job at Seattle Cocktail Club making things cool. I'm not chugging it. You don't chug Pog. Have you never drank Pog before, you loser?
I only had one gummy this morning. But I've been
Is it gonna fit? There we go. Also, someone had commented on my shirt earlier.
So I'm not having any more?
No, I said because you have a thing to do later.
Yeah, I do.
You're already all out of sorts. Someone commented on the shirt, which says, "Don't be an ass, stay inside," and it's Arnold and his two donkeys. This was a gift from our old boss, one of the few that we still like, Jared. And it was during the pandemic. We're both Arnold fans, and we sent each other like Arnold memes and things that Arnold does. We're basically Arnold stans.
You're basically his donkeys.
Yes. Oh my God. If I could switch places with one of these donkeys and live with Arnold all day, I would do it in a second. In a second.
Is Arnold's fan club called the Donkeys? It's funny because my nickname for you is the Donkey.
No, because I move things.
He's real. I'm like, where's the donkey? I need him to move things.
I'm good at manual labor. No, but I am also subscribed to Arnold's monthly newsletter.
Okay.
I love it. I get some great advice from Arnold.
When it comes out monthly, can you give us like a breakdown?
Oh, yeah. The last thing that came out from Arnold's newsletter, one of my favorite quotes of all time. I actually sent it to you, I believe. It was basically, they asked him how, because he answers questions, he'll give you little stories. Fantastic newsletter. Pictures from the past. And someone asked him how he juggles all of the different projects that he's a part of. He said, I subscribe to the rule, or to the theory that if I am doing something, it is all I'm doing. And I think I've maybe talked about this on the podcast before or in the stream. So basically, if he's getting ready for a meeting at USC, because there's like a school at USC that's named after him or some sort of club, whatever, he doesn't let his team ask him about any of the other projects that he's on until after that meeting is over. So if it's like an hour before he has to go in for this USC meeting, he won't address anything else. He won't answer an email about anything else.
I love it.
He is just focused on that. And that's what I've really tried to do for the last like month and a half is just say, what am I doing right now? That's all I'm going to do until it's done or until that time limit is over.
I'm trying to get there.
And I think it's been super beneficial. It's helped me out like mentally. I think I'm more clear.
Krisha said, I just woke up. I'm confused about what we're all talking about.
Yeah, that's a great question, Krisha.
We're about to do Bachelorette recap. The drink we are drinking will be served at the Boozy Bodega, which is from Seattle Cocktail Club. We will be there. There will be food. It is free to show up. You just have to pay for your food and to-go cocktails once you're there or not. Come hang out. But I can't, I was reading the menu. So I'm going to read the menu quickly for the spicy chicken sandwich, which is so fun to say with braces. And the food really quick, and then we'll get into Bachelorette recap. So the spicy... Can you read it?
Nope, just slow down.
Spicy sesame chicken sandwich has chili sauce with green onion, ginger and garlic, topped with pickled onion, cucumbers, and daikon sprouts.
What was the last thing?
Daikon sprouts.
I don't even know what that is.
Me neither. And then Chef Shota has his twist on macaroni salad.
And this is going to be in Seattle. We don't have an exact location yet. It's
a surprise.
It's a surprise, but they'll let you know next Thursday where the exact location is. And if you're in the Seattle area, if you're up in Everett, down in Olympia, Tacoma, you are more than welcome to come hang out. I think we're going to be there. How long are we going to be there for?
The whole time.
Okay.
August 6th.
So we'll be there the whole time.
August 6th. Here. Just sign up there and you'll get an email with all the information.
All right. Can you move this off the table?
Sorry.
And
today is National New Jersey Day.
Latest update on Simone Biles says she was not in the right headspace to compete in the team event.
Damn. Imagine.
Which it's just, it blows my mind. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have every right to pull out of whatever event she wants to pull out of. It doesn't matter. That's her prerogative. But it's just crazy to me that you can prepare for so long. Right? Because all of these athletes are preparing their whole lives for the Olympics.
Maybe when they're preparing, they should be pounded with questions all day.
Probably. I know in a lot of the bigger college programs for football and basketball, they will have like media training so you don't crack under the pressure. Because it is a lot of pressure.
How was the media shitty to her? I want to see.
And my question, I guess, and I could just be completely ignorant on this, but she's dealt with the media this is her third Olympics, if I remember correctly, or is it her fourth? And I did see something that they changed the rules and like the difficulty of her routine wouldn't be scored the same as it used to be.
Right.
She wouldn't get points for that difficulty, but it's just kind of crazy to think that you can train your whole life and then just be like, yeah, I'm done with this.
But how old is she?
26, something like that. I mean, gymnasts usually start pretty young. I think 26. She's 24.
What? I have to watch this.
There were such racist and misogynistic reporting undertones. Interesting. I have to look into it. That's true. Because of COVID, they don't have the same support system in the Olympic Village or in Tokyo. So that makes sense too.
Simone had recently said she was under the insane amount of pressure to the media. Doesn't seem like the media is her issue, but really the fact that everyone makes it seem like the whole win is on her and only her.
But this goes to what I was saying before, that I feel like in a way she should have been prepared for that, knowing that she was the face of American Olympics going into this.
Well,
but again, if it was just the pressure, that's one thing. If she was being treated differently, if there was misogynistic things being said or racist things being said, that's a totally different thing. I still need to do my research.
They changed the scoring because of her. Clearly we need to do it. We're going to report back on Thursday.
I'm going to be in a deep dark hole of book
report. Did you know
gymnastics
that
news.
In 5th grade I did a book report on Dominique Mosciano and I had to dress as a gymnast for my speaking to the class?
Why would anyone know that? Why would anyone in the world?
So I'm going to do it for Simone Biles.
Yeah, I am going to be deep into that rabbit hole. Let's see. She wasn't prepared for them to change the scoring rules so she doesn't dominate over others. Okay.
They changed the rules because she's too good. Oh, I'll throw up everywhere.
Huh. We'll look into more of that. So we do have to get into The Bachelor because we've only got about 15 minutes left. The Bachelorette, I should say. Because you've got to be done at 8:45?
8:45 is good. Between 8:47.
Okay, 8:47, which gives us 16 minutes from this very moment.
That's all we need.
And last week, I wasn't able to watch The Bachelorette on Monday. So I watched it yesterday. And I did make 2 notes of things I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I've got them over here.
You have a notebook?
Oh, number 1 was Katie and Greg's one-on-one date.
The Seattle one.
The Seattle one.
Where she said Pike's Place, like you always say.
She did say Pike's Place. And I know people last week gave her crap because it's Pike Place Market. There's no apostrophe S there. But here's where I think I'm on Katie's side. When she walked in, it was Katie's with an apostrophe S Place Market. And that's got to mess with your head. You're on TV.
No, I'm with her in that you slip. Like, she's a human. However, Anthony, for 5 years we've lived here, calls it Pike's Place, and I want to stab him in the throat.
You haven't yet, so.
And he says Fred Meyer's.
Yep, I say that too. JCPenney's. Whatever.
JCPenney does
None of it matters.
Like that.
Everything's fake. We're all going to die. Nothing matters.
I had to do one of my very first campaigns in radio was JCPenney, and I had to do the commercials with Elvis, and I was so scared back then. And they like literally were like, you will not say JCPenney's or pennies in any of these commercials, or we will pull all of our money.
The other thing I wanted to bring up from that one-on-one date was, I guess at the very end, they like go onto a football field. I guess it's supposed to be like a Seahawks thing. I don't know. It was kind of stupid. Mm-hmm. But what I realized was, you know, Katie like jukes out Greg. She runs to the side. He like feigns an attempt at tackling her. And it made me think of a date that I went on years and years ago. And this is why you can't trust me in competitive situations. The date it was at one of those like sports complexes where they have like batting cages and basketball courts and mini golf and stuff like that. And the girl who I was on a date with swore she was really good at basketball. She was like, I'm so good, blah, blah, blah. I can beat you. And I said, this is stupid. You cannot beat me at basketball.
I beat you at bowling.
She was 4'11".
Okay.
At best. And I'm 5'11". There's a foot difference. If I went up to a guy who was 6'11" and said, I could beat you at basketball, that would be idiotic. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So she continued. I think she even bet dinner or something that evening on the basketball game. We played 3 games. I believe the final cumulative score was 60-2. And that's because the 2 shots she took were from like a million feet away and I wasn't even defending her. But it goes to show that I would not do well on a show like The Bachelor. Because if they put me in that situation, they're like, oh, you're going to play Katie in football. I would tackle the shit out of Katie.
You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't hurt her. I would tackle her. I wouldn't hurt her.
So you beat this girl.
Yes.
In basketball.
60-2, I think.
Just clear that up. What happened after the fact?
We dated for a while.
I know, but like, was she pissed?
No. I think she was mad at herself for losing so badly, so often. I wasn't going to let up.
I would literally never, in any physical, like I beat you in bowling once, and that's like my claim to fame.
Okay. But here's the thing.
I'm saying, like, I know I couldn't beat you, and I could beat you if someone was like, hey, I'm going to teach you guys a cheer routine.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I would know that routine quicker than you.
But again, I wouldn't even talk crap in that situation. I'd be like, yeah, you're going to beat me in cheerleading. Yeah. But if a 4'11" woman comes up to me and says, I'm going to beat you in basketball, I'm going to say, no, there's 0% chance. All right. 0. But that's why it made me think of the Bachelorette episode from last weekend.
Yes.
Or last week.
Okay. So this week.
Danny B, thank you for extending your Tier 1 subscription. Appreciate you very much.
September.
So this week, we had...
Well, it kicks off with...
Well, we have Mike, Greg.
Who's Mike?
Connor? What the hell's his name?
Michael A.
Yeah, Mike.
Anthony, who is Connor? Were you asking?
I don't know. You made me think of... There's a Michael.
Michael A is his name.
Okay, his name's Mike.
There is no Connor left on the show.
Can you give me a second here? You interrupted me. His name's Mike. We all knew who Mike was. Michael A. Yeah, and there was Cat Connor. Michael A. Who's the tall, darker guy? Justin. Greg. And who's the 4th one? Oh, Blake. Blake. So there's Blake. There's 4 guys left on the show. Those are the 4.
And thank you, because Mike was the virgin. Michael A. That's how they picked.
Okay, got it. His name's still Mike.
I'm going to handle the conversation.
Go.
Here. Okay. So we kick off last night's episode with a 20-minute actual episode of the season about Michael A. deciding to go home because his son said, maybe daddy doesn't want to see me. And I don't want to get into we're not parents. So we're not going to get into the whole debate of should he have staged or not have staged, because we can, but like, we do not have children, so we don't understand. This was my takeaway from it. He went that far and left his kid I don't mean to say it in a mean way. I think he did a perfectly fine thing as a parent. He went that far and stayed away from his kid for that long. And for me, it was like for nothing. Like you couldn't even finish it, at least so that that time apart from your kid was justified. But again, I will probably never, and I don't want to ever know what that situation is like.
Agreed. And I also questioned him leaving because the following week would have been hometowns. And
next week
would have been hometowns. He said that his son wasn't coming out for hometowns for safety reasons. I don't know if that's a COVID thing or he just didn't want his kid on camera, whatever it was.
Well, he's always on his Instagram.
Okay, so maybe that wasn't it. It was interesting to me because he was so close to the end. And correct me if I'm wrong, and his son is what, 2?
4.
4? I don't know how great that kid's memory is. Maybe he's 3 years old, whatever. He's a child, a very small child. I think kids say things all the time. I don't know if that kid would have a legitimate
like
long-term hang-up because his dad was gone for an extra week.
Someone at home could have said something.
Yeah. So I did question. I said, you were so close. Your kid has been away from you this long. He's 4 years old. Thank you, Tacoma Swifty. So something didn't sit right with me, but the only thing that Michael A. said that got me a little on his side was he said he lost his mom and I don't want him to think he's alone. So I'm sure trying to explain to a child who at the time was 2 that you're never going to see your mom again was its own obstacle and its own hurdle and its own issue. So I understand him saying now he doesn't have both of us and he can't comprehend why. Yeah. So I get that part. I still think he would have been, again, I'm an outsider, but I still think he would have been fine for one more week.
I think it was more than a week, though.
See where he would have gone.
I was having this conversation with Court that the families likely had to quarantine for 2 weeks. I don't know if this is true or not, but they likely had to quarantine for 2 weeks. Everyone has to quarantine for 2 weeks. And if Michael A.'s family wasn't even out there yet, it was at least 2 more weeks till hometowns.
Okay. And it was. I think Steph 625 in the Twitch chat nails it. It's just a heartbreaking situation.
Yeah.
I think you could tell that Katie definitely wanted him to stay. He probably really wanted to stay.
Like,
and that parental guilt, someone said it, Vicky said it, parental guilt is real. And I think we can all commend him for being a caring father in a really difficult situation. As a single dad, away from his kid at that point for probably 6 weeks minimum. At that point when he got the call from his kid and then decided to go home.
I cannot imagine what that's like. And I don't know if I want him to be the next Bachelor or not, because I know Claire keeps saying this. I kind of want him to find love naturally, not through this hellhole.
Yeah.
But I would love to see someone like him represented on the show. I know Jason was a single dad years ago, Jason Mesnick, but it was a different situation, a different time. Obviously, Jason was much younger, but also I love Andrew S., so it's very tough because I think Andrew S. would make. I'll go on the show.
I think it has to be one of the two of them, either Andrew S. or Michael A. So Mergen 1990 in the Twitch chat said on Elvis's show this morning, they think it was all faked for the show. And this is continuing Mergen's message. I think the shows are scripted and edited to a point, but not that much. I don't think
they thought was fake.
I don't think him saying he's going home was scripted. Although I do wonder if one of the producers,
like if maybe he wanted to go home and they were like, "Hey, just have your kid say this."
I wonder because the producers are the ones putting him on the call, so they probably have to call an adult to get the kid on the phone and then bring Michael A. into the room because it clearly is a phone that the producers have. Yeah. I also, an aside, I'll get to what I was about to say. I loved that they showed the fact that a producer came out and hugged him afterwards. Like, I almost cried.
Yeah.
Because you could tell he was very emotional. And that's why I don't think it was scripted. But I do wonder if one of the producers was like, hey, can you figure out a way for the child to show or verbalize that he misses his dad? And maybe that's what came out. That I could believe.
Well, that's fucked. So
that I could believe 100%. But also, and this is for the parents in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but any kid I've been around especially that age between 2 to 4 or 5, kids say random things all the time.
Yeah.
Random, nonsensical, not even like based in reality. They just say things. And I wonder if that was just a thought that the kid had, a fleeting thought. He verbalized it, and maybe he wasn't even going to think about it again. You know, and Michael A. makes this decision based on that one statement that the child made.
Sarah Beth said, I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. Absolutely, they have no idea what they're saying sometimes.
And that's what I was leaning towards. Now, I totally understand parental guilt. I can see that. I don't fully understand it, obviously, as myself. But I just think the balance would have been, listen, there's one more week. I'm gonna thug it out.
It was more than a week.
Okay, 2 weeks, whatever.
3.
I don't know. Let's see. But they are affected. They notice when their parents aren't around. True. I understand that too. And I'm trying to not belittle.
But in my head, I was like, I feel like they're messing with us, and she picks Michael A. in the end anyway. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't think that's the truth anymore. Well,
no. So we got the Men Tell All episode as well. And that was kind of floated out there because Michael A. said, if Katie would take me back, I would go back now.
Basically said no.
And she was like, nah, thanks, bro. See you later.
Okay, so I don't see her with Justin, but then that's making me think like, all right, maybe Justin's the one we're not seeing the connection with, and she picks him.
We do have to say something that we were both wrong on.
Brendan?
The Canadian?
Yeah, he was just up and gone.
Canadian Johnny Bravo? We thought that the reason he wasn't part of the storyline was because the producers were editing him out because he ends up being the Bachelor. And if you watch a lot of the other seasons of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, usually the people that stay the longest, like you don't hear a lot about them in the beginning because they don't want to burn you out. So that's what we thought was going to happen with Canadian Johnny Bravo. And it just turns out he was just being brought along and that was it.
I'm also like, I feel like she had more of a connection with Andrew S. than with Greg. And again, it's what we see. Like, I look at Greg and I hear him sometimes and I'm like, what are you saying? You sound like an Italian ant.
I don't know. I think she is smitten with Greg.
Something's weird. Like I hear him talk and I'm literally like, he's like, there's just things that he says and the way he says it sometimes. I'm trying not to make fun of him for his voice, but it's just the way he says things. And I'm like, you truly do sound like an old Italian ant.
So Sarah Beth Schaefer here in the Twitch chat said, you guys know Katie. Does she end up with someone?
Well,
so here's well, here's the thing. I haven't really asked Katie anything that hasn't aired. Yes. There are a couple times where I've asked her to clear things up once something airs. And that's more because of the way my brain works. I'm like, I just need to put a bow on something and move on. So I have literally no evidence or proof or words from Katie as to how this ends. If I was to guess, because there's 4 guys now? There's 3 guys now. Yeah. We have Greg, Justin, and Blake. Yeah. They're left after Michael A. self-eliminated, walked out. I can't see Katie with Justin. I just haven't seen anything.
I know.
Unless she's like a huge art fan and she's like, I just love the way he paints.
He's a painter.
I just love the way he paints. I want him to paint me like one of his French girls. Like I can't see other than that. And I don't know Katie to be a huge art fan. So I can't see her with Justin. I do see her with either Greg or Blake. I can definitely see that. I mean, Blake, she was definitely smitten with. She even mentioned that before the show started, she had texted back and forth. So he's got an advantage in that he knew Katie as like pre-Bachelorette Katie. And they probably had a relationship of some sort. I'm not saying it was a relationship, but some sort of communication. And I really do think she likes Greg a lot. I think Greg is playing his cards perfectly. I think he's playing the shy, bashful, I never had self-confidence guy. So I could see her with those 2. I don't think it's Justin, but I also don't know anything in terms of how this show ends. So
I want Justin to be on another season of something just for his faces.
He does. He has the greatest reactions of all time. Yeah. By the way, Carla Marie, it is 8:46. I'm
starting to panic.
Let's see. Lisa said or what did she say? I think Blake and Katie have a great physical connection, but not so much on an emotional level. And he is a vulture. She wrote vulture at the end.
Can Blake be on an emotional level?
I too agree with what Lisa said. And unfortunately,
but that's
oh my God, Justin does look like Giancarlo Stanton, says Jen in the chat.
A lot of times you do have to lean on the physical connection in that show because you've only known someone for a month, 2 months.
Exactly.
A lot of times that is all you have.
I think we can end it with the fact that, first off, the physical connection is important. Like, you have to be physically attracted to the person you're with. It doesn't mean they have to be a supermodel. You personally just have to be physically attracted to that person. But when you think about it, the emotional connection is going to be difficult. And at this point, you have to assume that she spent somewhat equal time with the remaining 3 guys. Mm-hmm. So they probably have similar connections. Blake, even though he came onto the show later, he made up for that time before the Bachelorette started.
Kind of.
In some way, right? He wasn't fully, he wasn't a random.
But like, she's seen him on camera before. Like, they know each other.
And they've all had these amazing experiences at this resort together. So their physical time together has been the same. Yeah. So I think the thing you lean on is physical. And maybe she's super attracted to Blake. Out of the 3, looks-wise, I would go Greg, Blake, Justin. Probably. But I also could be judging Justin based on the crazy facial reactions he makes, where his eyes are sticking like 8 inches out of his face. So I need to see Justin normally.
Okay, I'm being called to do this.
All right, we are out of here.
I'm glad we're ending on Anthony ranking his looks, his attractiveness of the guys.
They're all attractive guys. They're all very good-looking guys.
Wait, let me drop the link.
All right, Carla Marie is going to put the link in the chat. She is going to be on the Vistaprint Facebook page doing a Facebook Live. And her guest is one of my favorite people in the entire world. His name is Habib. He is the CEO of Young Nails. He also happens to be his best title probably of all time. More than CEO, more than dad, more than anything. His best title is probably my cousin.
Okay, goodbye.
So
see you
go
there.
check
There's
that out.